Arrogant, throwing fits, ripping shit, tearing it, imperative. Then I'm killing this mic no matter where I live. These derelict rappers acting a fool, this embarrassing is flagrant. That's the nature of this entertainment, and we can't even change it. Guilty before arraignment, now the system tainted. But when we speak, they all laugh at us. And y'all wonder why I'm lacking trust. Try to fight a giant with attorneys that can back them up. That's church versus science, both sides start acting up. I'm late on my assignment, hopping up a mile high, climbing. Obviously never silent, new alignment, I'm defined, cannot describe it. Used to describe it as a young graffiti artist. Before the beard, I always got carded. Hit every bar, even though my bar's been the hardest. The scars on my face, and I ain't always been the smartest. But I'll show you where my heart is. I said I'll show you where my heart is. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve, even if the beat stops my soul.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday with the fellas. A little sports nonsense and whiskey. Robert, Pinky, good evening to you, sirs.
Good
cracking, boys?
evening. Pinky, I miss your face.
Oh man, I miss your dumb face.
I can't harass you. I feel like my dad left me. I've been abandoned as a child.
And you can harass me through chat, but I don't know if I'll see it because I'm actually like
I'm
working.
orphaned. I'm an orphan at USA, you know. I have to eat lunch all by myself. Just kidding. I'm just joking.
For those that are just joining, yes, this is a couch. There is some therapy going down, and we're just going to let it play out as it may.
Best way to do it. Best way to do it.
Gentlemen, how was your past week? Pinky, I know you got a little show and tell for us and a little recap, if you will. Robert, feeling the vibe again. Appreciate you, good sir.
Bro, I mean, I had a great weekend. It was nice. I mean, Broncos, you know, came out with a win, so that was awesome. Got to have a really nice dinner with my family, having smoked pork. So, you know, that was great. And then I got to see The Shining in IMAX for the first time. So that was actually a real treat. I was very glad that I did that. It was a late showing. It was 10 o'clock at night, and that's a 2.5 hour movie, but that was worth every minute. It won't be as bad as what Friday night will be, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, no, my weekend was awesome. I definitely had an awesome cinema experience, and it was great.
Nice. Pinky, you wanna show and tell a little bit, good sir? Because I know you got a couple little goodies over the weekend. What did you do?
Just a
Where
couple.
were you? I know we told everybody last week, but tell the people, what were you doing this weekend?
I was at it was in Washington D.C. seeing John Cena's last match. So I was all there with the people, my people, hardcore wrestling fans. It was awesome. Like, just everybody I walked by had a bag from the WWE Superstore. So I'm like, hey, what'd you get? What'd you pick up? What'd you grab? Like, it was nuts. Like, every single person had a bag in their hand of stuff they bought. They had to have made a lot of money off of merchandise sales.
Yeah,
they made a lot of money off
sure.
of me.
Yeah,
For sure.
My receipt walking out of the store was more than my mortgage.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I do have some show and tell.
so I did bring some things back.
Got me the last time is now John Cena Funko.
Oh,
Nice.
that's dope.
Perfect. I got the T-shirt. I switched into the Broncos jersey. I have my John Cena the last one T-shirt.
Hey, nice.
Got one for Hannah as well. We both wore them to the match. I got the wristbands from the show as well. I got another toy that's being wrapped up for Christmas, and then
To yourself?
there's a story. So for the last month or so, they've been advertising bringing back the LGN Superstars toys, and they're bigger size versions, sturdier.
They're the 12-inch, right?
Yeah, and they don't move really. And they've got a poster as well.
Okay.
So Harmony just thought those were the coolest thing, and she was like, "We got to go buy them, Dad." And so Hannah and I found them, and then Hannah told Harmony, I found these for Dad. They're from you. Harmony's so excited to give them to me. Well, I was able to get Dusty, Logan, and Hulk Hogan at a Target, but they didn't have the Cena. At the Superstore, they had the Cena, so we picked up the Cena. And then my grand plan was I was going to get all of you guys an autograph poster. Because with the shows, they usually do a $25 autograph poster. I was all in to get that for you guys, but they weren't $25.
No. Nice.
You better get that frame immediately.
Yeah.
So this was $100.
Yeah, that needs to get framed for sure, dude.
Definitely getting framed. So then I did get everybody, the whole wrestling crew is getting a Last Time Is Now towel.
Oh,
Yo.
sick.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Cody, when you listen to this, I need you to message me your address. I got you one too.
Shiggy.
That's awesome.
That's killer.
Yeah.
That might just go on the golf bag just for decoration, not for
man.
use. Not for use.
That's gonna go over there next to the belt. It's gonna go next to the belt.
Yeah.
And then my pride and joy.
Bro, that's so sick.
That's pretty. That's pretty.
And
good
and it's number 57, I think I saw.
57 of 550. Yeah.
That's awesome.
He just strokes it to spin it.
Now, Pinky, that doesn't leave the house, so Caleb can't steal it.
So yes, that is correct.
I stole nothing.
You borrowed.
I rescued such things that were left behind.
You borrowed.
No, didn't even borrow. Rescued. And it is not my fault said things apparently wanted to hang out with me for a time being. Okay?
That is very fair. That is very fair.
That's awesome.
So, and the story behind this is I walked into the Superstore, and again, it's wall-to-wall Cena everything. And the upstairs level has autograph belts for sale. Those were as much as what I spent. I was like, I could get an autograph belt or I could get all of this stuff. But I saw the belt, and they had a couple from throughout the tour, like his LA one, and they had his Boston one, and because he's got a belt for every single city that he made an appearance, right? So I saw it, and I was just like, no, that's just too much. And the wife was like, you're gonna buy it. And I was like, wait, no, like that's just too much money. And she's like, no, you have never looked at anything that longedly in your life. You have to buy it. You have to get it. And I was like, no. She's like, no, we're not leaving until you buy the belt. And I was like, okay. So thankfully my wife was a real trooper. She really she was awesome. She was awesome.
It's like the Austin Powers scene with Will Ferrell. Man, I hate being asked the same question 3 times. Just gave in.
Next year
just gave in.
To be Hannah's Last Time Is Now trip. And you better just say yes a whole bunch.
I'm taking her to Hawaii, so yeah.
I was about to say they're going to Hawaii. That's kind of
That'll work.
Oh, that's great. Which I got to figure out the draft situation. We got to talk about that off air.
It's I've got my plane tickets for the draft, but everything else I don't even know how I'm going to afford it this year because usually I have a bonus beforehand, and I don't have a bonus this year before.
Oh, hey, I do get it. When is that again?
March. End of February, March, early March.
That's right.
So I think I've got some money coming my way for my sign-on bonus. I think I'm going to put back a little bit of that money for the draft.
We'll talk about this later.
But yeah, great time. The arena was great. The event was fun. The outcome, not so much. But I've dealt with all my anger, and I've let it go. And I am hoping, as everybody knows, Gunther made John Cena tap out like a bitch. His words, not mine. His words. I hope they continue to build on the nuclear heat that Gunther has right now of being like the most hated man in professional wrestling. So we'll see what they do.
It won't because it's forced. So it'll sizzle real quick. They keep trying to push him, and he's just not it. I don't know how many times we have to go over this.
Hey, I love him.
If that was
Gunther.
Drew McIntyre that had done such a thing, there would be something to roll with afterwards. Nobody really cares about Gunther. And the fact that he made him tap out, like, weak. But
He went out with a smile on his face.
on the bright side, par for the course with what they did for him with the whole year, right? I mean, that was right there where they wanted to be, apparently.
I mean, it had some moments, and there's some good moments that I have good memories that I had of the year, but it is not it was not great on the whole.
It was rough.
That's fair.
So let's talk. Let's get Pink. I'm starting to get sad now just thinking about it. So let's get into some football and get some happy vibes going.
Which
some
I'll
good
start
stuff
us
to
off
talk about.
with this real quick. I'm very proud of us this evening. We didn't even talk about it, and we all coordinated. I'm so proud of us. We're all wearing Broncos gear, so that's a win. That's a win in my book. So cheers to that.
Figure we go full homer tonight, just in case there were any doubts.
I almost didn't, but I was like, nah, I need to do it.
Caleb, do you still have the schedule there?
Mm-hmm.
Did we pick the Broncos to beat the Packers? I'm pretty sure we did.
I already know this answer because I was not on board with this. But yes, we did pick them to beat the Packers.
Yeah.
Side note, what is their record right now, Pinky?
They are 12-2.
Yo, props to you boys. The homerism kicked in real good this year because we had them at 14-3 for the season.
And I think that's what it's going to end up being.
It sure kind of looks that way right now.
I think they either lose to Jacksonville or they lose to the Chargers. I think they're going to beat KC and KC on Christmas now without Mahomes.
Goner.
Which I guess I ruined it. Everybody knows. Mahomes got hurt, guys. Let's talk about it.
Can we just say he's an L7 weenie? No, I'm just kidding.
What?
I will say I did feel really bad that I was in the Dallas airport, Chili's, having lunch, watching the game.
Chili's, baby back ribs.
And of course, it's Texas. I don't know if you guys know this, but Mahomes has a really big following in Texas. They claim him because he went to Texas Tech, and I believe his dad settled in Texas and all of that. So they really claim Mahomes. So every time they made a play, it was the most irritating thing ever.
What?
Caleb's been around me long enough. He knows. What did Pinky start doing?
No, you didn't.
I was trolling. I was. Every time the Chargers made a good play, let's go. Yeah. Oh, I was being really over the top. My wife started giving me the look like she's like, just stop, just tone it down.
Yeah, love it.
And I after they like sacked him, I started cheering, and then I was like, oh no, he's really hurt.
No, take that. Breathe it back in.
I'm sorry.
I
felt bad for that one, but it is what it is. It was bound to happen. Just the way that he will always put his body on the line to make the play. I can always respect that from him. He is a true competitor, and he's got the clutch gene.
I wouldn't say this was always bound to happen. It's not like he puts his body on the line in what's the way I want to say this? In an unsafe way, in a reckless way, maybe is a better way to say it, like some other quarterbacks do. He usually gets down, avoids the big hits, and this was a guy tackling him from behind while he was trying to escape the pocket. It's not like he got lit up trying to extend a play in the wrong way. You know what I mean? Very much so a freak injury, the way it was
right.
Yeah,
Definitely
totally.
freak, but
happening. I said it pretty much as soon as it happened. I think the similarities between him and Brady at this point in their careers is eerie. This injury occurred in year 8 for both of them. Brady didn't win another Super Bowl until year, I want to say 14, I think, because it was another 6 years before he won a Super Bowl. Like anybody thinking this is going to be the end of the Chiefs, the only way that happens is if the front office and the head coach completely screw the pooch moving forward. And this is, let's be honest, this is the perfect time to transition. This is the time because anybody that knows this injury knows the year after, the first year back, you're just trying to knock all the rust off still. It's really still a rehab year. And anybody that goes out and balls out that next year is a very rare breed. Adrian Peterson. So they have this offseason and next offseason to get right and kind of reset the clock again if they want to keep the dynasty maintained and going forward. They don't necessarily have to win a Super Bowl in the next couple of years to still have a dynasty as long as you're still in that conversation at the end of the season. So if you're still making AFC championship games, that clock is still on.
Right.
So I think anybody celebrating the end of the Chiefs celebrated a little too early and need to get a little bit of a refund on that celebration because it would surprise me if they don't use this time to transition into their next phase.
Let's talk about that for a moment because I agree with you. I don't think the dynasty is over. But next year will be tough because he's probably out half the year or not quite 100%. If he comes back early, which he could.
I mean, theoretically, where the timeline is, he could be ready to start the season. I think that would be really pushing it, and you're almost asking for another injury. And I think they would slow play this, and he probably comes back. If you start on the IR or whatever it is, you got to wait till like week 4 before you can come back or something like that.
You're thinking the PUP list.
PUP list. That's what I'm thinking. When can you come back from that?
6.
It wouldn't surprise me if they do that. Something very similar to that and just let him continue the rehab, but be there for all the team meetings and everything. And then reactivate him and let him kind of finish out the season to clear the rest of the rehab.
I think the problem they're going to have is two of the reasons they've had a dynasty. I mean, Travis Kelce, he's still had a pretty good year, but I would say that's only because, like, there's not a whole lot else out there for them to throw the ball to. So he ends up still getting, enough targets to generate anything. But, he's just not the same guy anymore. He's just not. And he's probably
Rashee Rice is a true wide receiver 1. Worthy, I don't quite know what he is yet. Could he be a 2? It's kind of borderline there. They've got Gray in the wings as a tight end. He's not Kelce, but he's a serviceable tight end and not offense. So they can kind of roll with that moving forward. They still need to address the line a little bit after some pieces left in the last offseason. They need to get a running game. And I've already seen some mocks projecting Jeremiah Love to them. And that would make something interesting.
So let's rephrase that a little bit. They need to actually focus and stay committed to running the football. Yeah, because when they've committed to Kareem Hunt, when Kareem Hunt had over 20 carries this year, they won. They have to commit to running the football, but Andy Reid gets away from the run.
He does.
He's before you know it.
Isn't he like a career like 60-40 split or something like that? Like it's a pretty big gap for him.
I would say it's even higher than that, most likely. I'd have to look up. Yeah. We'd have to look up the numbers. I think it's closer to probably 70-30. There's just moments where when you get done at the game, you're like, they only had 14 rushes? What? Their interior 3. I know they let Tooney go, but Creed Humphrey's the best center in the game. And then Trey Smith is pretty damn good at right guard as well. So kind of whoever they have at left guard. you can run the football with those two guys.
You're not wrong. I maybe it's just the teams kind of packed the box a little bit more this year because they weren't as concerned about the
Well, they just
the
don't have
passing
guys.
game.
Yeah, they don't have guys getting open consistently in that passing game.
But
And you-
I
and-
would say while the Hunt Pacheco is a serviceable duo, I think one thing I have very clearly learned from Detroit of all teams is that if you have the ability to get a guy who you think is a stud and a game changer, and you believe that's a piece you're missing to take it to the next level, which there's no reason the Chiefs shouldn't think they're not just a piece or two away still, you go get your Jahmyr Gibbs. You go get your Jeremiah Love. And you allow that talent to help you take that next step forward.
But will they commit to that though? Is the problem? Like sometimes, no matter how
I
good
don't
a
know.
running back you have,
That's a good
like,
question. It's a fair question. It's a fair question, Pinky.
Andy Reid's burned me before with running backs, so I just don't trust the guy when it comes to that. But
I feel like that first year and a half of Kareem Hunt before he got suspended, Andy Reid was willing to let him get a lot of touches when he felt like that was a stud. I feel like before Pacheco's injury, they were letting him get a lot of touches. Before the injury, maybe he zapped his legs a little bit.
he doesn't have the same.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But I feel like if Andy Reid has what he feels like is a stud, he'll let that guy eat, is what I'm trying to say. But he's got to feel like he's got a stud. And I don't feel like he thinks he has that right now anymore. So he does back away from it. You got to remember, Westbrook ate in that offense for a while. And then Shady later on for a little bit.
Which he did a lot more in the passing game too, though. So
I'm not saying he didn't do, but they still find even those screens and stuff are part of the quote unquote run game. You know what I mean? You can make some of that passing game feel like part of the run game. And Andy Reid's one of the best at doing that. That's part of the reason his split is so bad. But if you don't have somebody you feel you can do that, then maybe that was the issue. I don't know.
The other problem they have right now is they have a Chris Jones issue. He's just not the same guy.
Well, the defense needs to get revamped a little bit. You got a lot of money. You're going to need to restructure somewhere. Look, I'm not saying it's going to be an easy task, but I think there is no better opportunity for them to, if you will, take next year off in a sense, knowing what's going on. Fan base will still show up. Nobody's going to expect anything, and truly transition forward into a new era. Get a little bit younger, restructure some contracts, do kind of what the Rams did when they said F them all them picks, and where they're at now, you can make a big jump. I mean, we've talked about it before. That's one of the reasons the NFL is arguably the best structured professional league in the world, because of the way they've set up salaries and things of that nature. It allows parity to exist in the best way possible for competitiveness.
It really allows you
and
to
it
go
really
worse,
depends
worse
on,
to
do
first.
you make the right decisions, right? Do you draft correctly? Do you give the right guys the money? And if you do, you can be very successful very quickly.
Robert, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I kind of already know the answer.
Oh,
How are you feeling about the Chiefs not being in the playoffs?
it's so nice. It's so great. Don't have to hear about, Chiefs magic and Mahomes and all. It's so nice. I'm so excited to see what the playoffs actually bring, because at this point, it's just wide open. I mean, I say wide open, but it's just there's new blood, and there's something there. It's like there's hope on the horizon, right? I'm excited. I'm genuinely looking forward to what the Super Bowl is going to be, because the Chiefs aren't going to be there. Plain and simple. That's just really how I feel.
It's crazy, man. And
it's possible the Eagles don't even make it. So that even better.
Here's a question for both of you. Is this the changing of the guard, or is this a get right season where you have an opportunity to steal a Super Bowl that you otherwise shouldn't have had any business being a part of, and you get to etch your name in history? Meaning Mahomes is back next year. Lamar bounces back next year. Joe Burrow bounces back next year. Josh Allen looks even better. You know what I mean? the teams that we thought should be there are going to be there next year? Or are we seeing a changing of the guard?
I think with the caliber of teams and things that are happening right now with just some of the key quote unquote players of most of those offenses are leaving their prime to some extent. So I do think it is a change of the guard, in my opinion. I think it's now the gaps are starting to open up for a lot of these teams, and they're vulnerable.
I don't know if it's a changing of the guard per se, because I still think Buffalo's going to be pretty good next year. Baltimore with a healthy Lamar should be pretty good. The Bengals, if they can figure out how to draft anybody on defense that can help
and protect
them
Joey B.
They could be pretty dangerous. But then you've got the Broncos, who are looking like a great team together, and they've got a lot of their guys locked up for the next few years as well, so that's not an issue. And then you've got the Patriots, who look amazing as well.
Seattle.
Except
what about
that
like
game?
a San Francisco who is part of that guard, but they're so injured this year and still looking really good? They get everybody back next year. They're going to be just fine.
Right. I think it's just it is one of those weird seasons that I agree, there is an opportunity to seize the moment while these other teams are a little down and they have to retool. Right. They've got to get a couple pieces here and there, get healthy in a couple areas, and boom, they're right back where they normally are. So I just don't think it's a change in regard, but I do think, the Rams are looking great. The Seahawks are on the up. The Jaguars are on the up. Here's a fun stat for the Jaguars. Since they traded for Jacoby Myers, they're averaging 32 points a game.
Caleb hates this so much.
I don't hate it. It's just wild and makes zero sense how you already have Brian Thomas. Now it looks like Jacoby Meyer is your number one.
He absolutely is. Is. He's always open.
Etienne seems to be actually being used all of a sudden as a primary running back. Like, it's weird. It's just weird to see them all of a sudden look like they're actually a good football team. Not just winning games that maybe they shouldn't have. They look like a good football team. And I said, like, this wouldn't surprise me at the beginning of the season because of the pieces they had. But the way they look kind of the really that kind of middle stretch of the season, I was like, oh, they're not going to – zero chance they figure this out. I still don't think Trevor Lawrence is the dude, which is wild to say because he just had a game that's never been done in the history of the league. Like, it was like 4 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown, 5 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. I thought he only had 5 touchdowns total. Either way, okay. And then he threw for 350 or something like that. It's never been done.
Now, I will say their stretch has not been great. They beat the Raiders. They lost to the Texans. They beat the Chargers. One is the shocking one where they just demolished the Chargers. They beat the Cardinals. They whooped on the Titans, and then they beat the Colts. And then when they did injure Danny Dimes in the game, and then they just whooped up on the Jets. So not like their schedule's really been difficult. Well, this weekend is a big game for Broncos and Jags. This is a big game. Big.
Winner kind of almost basically wins their division in a sense.
Yeah, Broncos have a shot.
I'm not saying it locks it up. I'm just saying this win really puts either one of these teams in a position to lock up their division.
They'll control their destiny because the Jaguars play the Broncos, Colts, and Titans. So if they can win this game, they win the Titans game, they probably got it locked up.
Now, didn't think I'd say this to start the season, but let's stay in the AFC South here for a moment because the other really big storyline this last week was Mr. Phillip Rivers coming back and starting for the Indianapolis Colts.
The good old Grandpa Rivers.
And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what Cam Newton's salty ass wants to say. My God, I've never seen a man more hating of a situation and a person getting an opportunity in my life. Watching that on live TV was something else. But he played good football. And when I say good football, I mean give him the circumstances, given what was being asked of him, he had them in position to win the game if it wasn't for a last-second field goal. That, like, what else could have you asked for? He had 4 days of practice. He hasn't played for 5 years. Now, okay. So Indy's just on the outside looking into the playoffs, right? I do believe now.
Yeah.
They play San Francisco, Jacksonville, and Houston. And I think all of those games are winnable. Would I favor them? No. I actually wouldn't favor them in any of those games. But based on what I just saw from Phillip Rivers, and now you give him a week in practice with that offense, I do think all 3 of those games become winnable based on what I saw this last weekend. Whereas before that, I would have said they're done. They're going to lose out, and they're out. Now, if I'm a Colts fan, I don't think you can honestly say the Colts do not have a shot. It may not be great odds, but they definitely have fighting odds right now to still make the playoffs, I think.
Time will tell. Pinky, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't think they have any shot in hell. I don't think any of those games are winnable with Phillip Rivers right now.
Good old optimistic Pinky.
I just don't. He played very average and found a way to get his team in position to win the game, though. He did. That's admirable, especially after 5 years, 4 days of practice. We talk about that Baker game when Baker ended up from Carolina to LA.
Yeah, that's absurd.
He had like a day of practice and was like, now you're starting, and he won, right? So it didn't look great. Could it get better? Sure. Those 3 teams are tough right now, and they're all playing pretty good football. And they've been playing better football than the Colts were playing before Danny Dimes got hurt, because the Colts were in that, like, they just weren't looking right down the stretch.
Danny Dimes has been hurt, though, since, week 8, we've come to find out, with his strained calf or whatever it was.
It happens every year. A team comes out of the gate, and for whatever reason, the Colts were playing their best football early. And it's always said you want to be playing your best football in December.
It's the Steelers line, right, Pinky? That's the most recent, newest example.
I mean,
the Andy Dalton line you love to use for quarterbacks, that Steelers line is really hot start, not a good team.
The Patriots had done that for years. They would be 2-3, 3-2. November, December hit. Next thing you know, they didn't lose a game during November, December. Like, you want to get hot. You want to get playing your best football at the end of the year. And I think the Colts were hot, and then they kind of leveled, and then they weren't playing great. So we'll see. Those are in all 3 of those matchups are really good, but I think they only have the wiggle room to lose one of those, I think.
Oh, I don't think they can. Honestly, I don't think they can lose one of those if they want to be in the playoffs, because I do believe they're just on the outside looking in right now in the wild card hunt. So, correct me if I'm wrong, please, but the situation is not great. But I think the fact that you can even have some hope is pretty wild, all things considered.
Hope is
going a little
good.
further south now within the AFC South. Welcome back, CJ Stroud. The return of Mr. Amagetcha, because that offense is starting to look pretty good all of a sudden. And I would say a lot of that is due to the way he has been playing and looking like he's taking that next jump that you kind of expected to see more last year. And granted, I know what last year was, so I'm not trying to say there aren't reasons for why, but we knew what the defense was. Might be the best defense in the league. And people want to keep fighting with me, and I know I had Seattle fans on my ass for God knows what reason. I didn't even say they were bad. I just said they were slightly inconsistent at times.
Caleb, that was the best thing about that is you literally said they were the best team in the NFC, and they still hated on you.
Just mashed on me. Anyways, Houston might be the best defense in the league, but I also think Seattle's defense is really good. I've been saying that all season. This isn't anything new or just because I got reamed on. If they listen to anything else, they know that. The Broncos' defense is really good. I think Philadelphia's can still be up there. I think a lot of it depends on what your offense is doing for you. And right now, those offenses are all kind of looking like they're doing something for their defense that really allows them to go after the quarterback. Houston, Jacksonville is going to be a very interesting race for that division coming down the stretch. Now, if Indy does win out and they beat Jacksonville and Houston, I haven't done the math. I don't know if that means they could win the division then. I don't quite know, and I'm not going to go there. So there is a really fun race in a division that we thought there wasn't going to be really worth watching at all to begin with. It might be turning into the best division at the end of the season. So, it's one of the reasons we love the NFL so much. There's another team that I would have put in this defensive category, Pinky, until this weekend and the major injury that occurred, and that would be Green Bay and Micah Parsons. And we'll jump over to the NFC side in a second, but I just wanted to mention that because outside of those defenses, I don't think there really is a defense that can play at that level. I think those guys have kind of separated themselves from the rest of the pack as far as the defensive side of the ball this year. And you can go win some games with just those defenses. And I think Green Bay was on that level. I don't think they can now without Micah Parsons. I thought the Rams were on that level for a little bit. I don't think they are anymore after the last couple of weeks. Could they turn it back on? Potentially, yes. But as of right now, no. So you look at the AFC South and you say, I would say at least two of those teams are going to be in the playoffs at this point. I would be surprised if Houston and Jacksonville don't make it. But then if one of them doesn't make it, I would say that probably means Indy went on some crazy run and Phillip Rivers is just doing things he shouldn't be doing, and they made it. So you still get two teams. But again, this looks like a division that might be the most competitive in the league this year, and we were thinking was arguably going to be the worst, which is wild.
I think the only two teams that are on the outside looking in that have a shot are the Colts and the Ravens right now. Are the only two teams that have a chance to get in.
And the Ravens have a better shot at the division, and the Steelers winning last night makes that a little bit harder.
Fair. Now they still have a game against each other, so that's going to be their defining.
Who won the other one? I can't remember. Was it Pittsburgh or Baltimore?
I thought it was Baltimore, but
that's what I thought too. But now I'm drawing a blank.
I'd ask Robert to Google it, but he looks like he's asleep.
No, I'm not asleep. What the heck?
I just got to give you some crap, bro. Hold on. Steelers beat the Ravens 27-22.
Ooh, that's not good for Baltimore because they go New England, Green Bay, Pittsburgh to end the season.
Oh God, I don't know if they beat the Patriots this weekend.
No, not after the game the Patriots just had.
And I don't know if they beat the Packers.
Blowing a 21-point lead to Buffalo at home.
Division
Vrabel's not going to let that happen again, dude.
Yeah, division opponent. Weird things happen. We
I know, but it's not going to happen again. And the way they've decided to apparently let Travion Henderson be the primary back, and that offensive line, big plays are happening on the ground right now that is opening that offense up for the pass game wide open.
They're
looking good.
Ramondre gets 3rd and 1s at this point. I'm not 1st and 2nd down. I want that home run hitter in there. I put Travion in all the time. Travion, you're tired? Okay, Ramondre, get a couple snaps. You're good.
Huge win for Buffalo. They needed that. So now the division's still within reach. They could still claim a home field bye first round. They could still get a. No, they can't. Only the 1 seed gets a bye now. So they could still get a first round home game is what I'm trying to say. I guess they're still in play for the 1 seed too, but Denver would have to kind of fall on their face. New England would still have to fall on their face.
Denver loses out, New England loses out, Buffalo could get it, but that's just
so
that's a tough.
NFC starting to shape up. Broncos would have to stumble down the stretch not to get the division. Chargers still have an opportunity, but again, we're talking about a lose-out scenario. The way the Broncos are playing right now, offense and defense, complementary football. That's what I kept talking about with Denver, that they needed to do more of, that I liked what I was seeing from New England and Seattle. Denver this last weekend, I'd say that was some pretty good complementary football.
Do you know what that was on Sunday? That was Bo Nix's best game. Clean, decisive, put the ball in like windows. Like it was all
the lack of a true dominant run game still concerns me with the Broncos.
I'm praying J.K. Dobbins is back. If we get the bye, J.K. Dobbins is coming back. Believe it.
Well, you also need Sean Payton to call it consistently enough for that to take hold too, though. And right now, he's still not even doing that.
But he doesn't have the consistency that Dobbins was providing in order to do
You're right. You're not wrong. And we know how I feel about my boy JK, so I'm not going to poo-poo that idea by any means. But RJ Harvey definitely right now looks like he's having a little bit of rookie struggle seeing holes at the line of scrimmage. He'll hit some for really big plays, and then other ones where you could see, but dude, just take the 3 or 4 yards.
But he is getting better.
He's missing it. I won't say it's getting worse, okay? But I don't know if they've exactly played defenses that have been, I don't want to say capable of stopping the run, but are not dominant at it. And when you get later into the playoffs, it's usually something you're going to have to do. So having JK back would be a very big deal for the Broncos. Because I think right now, as it looks, that's going to be their flaw, their weakness that they're going to have to figure out how to work around. And in the playoffs, that can be a big weakness. So we'll see. On the NFC side, look, Seattle, bravo. Okay. Those are games you have to win week to week in the NFL if you want to be still in position at the end of the season to hoist a Lombardi. There's going to be ugly games in the season that you better figure out a way to win. And you did. So, well done. I think the Rams losing Adams, if he's out for...
Puka's banged up too.
It's going to be a problem for the Rams. And that defense is already kind of here.
And those poor Lions, they needed that game.
Yeah. The Lions are... I don't know what to make of them. They're still very much alive. And then you get the Packers. Can Jordan Love step up enough to start rolling with that offense and carry the defense now? Does Philadelphia keep just doing what they do and Jalen Hurts is going to do what he does and they just keep finding ways to win? The AFC, I think, kind of has an upper tier right now and then another set of teams that could kind of get things done. I think Denver, New England, and Buffalo are kind of sitting above everybody else. I think Houston is very close to joining that conversation. On the NFC side, I think it's wide open. I think pick a team and roll with it. I would probably put Seattle at the top right now. I've kind of been on that train for a little while now.
I'm rooting for that.
So
a Broncos Seattle Super Bowl with the Broncos winning this time would be all right with me.
So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I think Seattle's fatal flaw is the same as Denver's, and I think it's their run game. And I don't know how you can have Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet and not have a dominant run game. And what I thought was going to be a strength for them this year feels like it's a weakness right now.
I just think their O-line is not that great. And then
maybe
on top of that, if you can double JSN, the options are limited for Sam. And if you get pressure on Sam right away and nobody else is open, that offense struggles. Every team has a flaw, like you mentioned. I think it holds true. We totally agree on that. For me, it's the Rams, Seattle are the two teams right now in the NFC, and I do think Patriots, Broncos, and Bills are the three teams in the AFC that I'm like, any one of those teams can make the Super Bowl, and I would not be shocked.
Word. Any final thoughts on the NFL right now?
You know, is Matt Stafford still the MVP? I think he is. I think he's at like 40 touchdowns now.
Yeah, I think if Drake May gets the 1 seed, it would mean that he put up numbers such that he would be in contention. I think if Allen runs the table, he's going to be in there as well. But I kind of think Stafford's the front runner right now, and it's kind of his.
He got 37.
37. He's close. He'll be at 40 before. He'll be 40
These next couple of weeks with a banged up talent pool around him would say a lot and do a lot for his campaign.
That it would. So we shall see. All right. College football playoffs start this weekend, baby. And before we talk about it, of course, we had the Heisman.
So I went down a rabbit hole.
Oh boy.
And
Pinky, let's start drinking.
To find another year where, and I really don't like saying this because I don't feel this way exactly, but just the race itself had this feeling, and it sounds negative, and I don't mean it to be, but just underwhelming. Mendoza winning felt underwhelming. None of the candidates felt like they had a year or 2 or 3 of them where you were like, that was spectacular. The guy that finished 3rd in the voting wasn't even invited to the ceremony. And that's Rodriguez, the linebacker down out of Texas Tech. So the last one I could think of and really feel like it was somewhat similar only because people were so not happy outside of the team that won. And the numbers weren't necessarily spectacular in a sense. Going back to 2001 and Eric Crouch winning with Nebraska. Now, I very much understand why he got it. Granted, it's a very homer view, so I'm not trying to hide any of that. But he had moments during that season where he looked like the best player, and he had Heisman moments, multiples. Mendoza, you could argue, had the Heisman moment at Penn State, leading that last drive, that last catch to win the game in the end zone. That throw was beautiful. Being the quarterback at Indiana and being the best team in the country this season, I think is very much underrated and underappreciated for why he is very much deserving of this award. If you saw what Indiana was doing to people this season,
they were messing
there
them up.
wasn't a reason for him to play enough to have the really big, gaudy stats. Now, the time he did play, completion percentage wasn't spectacular. TD to INT ratio isn't spectacular. So there's some arguments still there, and I get that. But I do think the story as a whole, being the quarterback of that team, where he came from, what everything does, and then that one moment against Penn State, regardless of what you think about Penn State's season, they still got a bunch of dudes on that team. It's not like it's a talentless team that they beat, okay? It's just a really down year for what many thought was going to be a national championship contending team for a very good reason. So it's not like Penn State is bad. So I think people kind of underappreciate what he did this year for that team as a quarterback leading them. But on the other side, like I was saying, the numbers, the moments, they don't really seem to exist this year for any of them outside of that moment for Mendoza. And I think that's what leaves people wanting after this season, especially after the run you had last year. I think last year's run was one of the most controversial in a very long time. And a lot of it had nothing to do with the players. It was more a Coach Prime in Colorado versus the world kind of thing, and you either hated them or loved them. And if you hated them, which was the majority, then you didn't want Travis Hunter to win the Heisman, and you were very much in Ashton Genty's corner. So I think that created a very big storyline for the Heisman race. And then the two candidates at the top had very worthy seasons based on what they were doing. So I think you come from a high of last year and then kind of a low of this year. And I think it kind of is part of the reason all that happens.
Dude,
But I think
draft
Mendoza
class
is
is
very...
not going to be good.
Say what?
I don't think this year's draft class is going to be great.
It's going to be a really talented draft as a whole. It's one of those drafts that Pinky and I have talked about in the past where you're going to get a lot of guys that can be starters for years in the league. There may not be any of those quote unquote superstars.
You might not draft. Volume. You may not draft a lot of Hall of Famers coming out of this draft.
Yeah, but you're going to get a lot of really good
starters.
Players. Yeah. So, and then you do look at the quarterbacks coming out, and you do look at like a Mendoza, and you're like, damn, could he go out there and be a Kirk Cousins, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning kind of? You can go win a lot of games with that guy. And he could be the leader of your franchise for Super Bowls. Or is it, I mean, the numbers we saw last year weren't spectacular for a reason. Because he's just not it. But he's going to get drafted high next year. And what is he going to end up doing? By all accounts, as a human being and a leader, phenomenal. Can't ask for better. So then it's going to come down to the talent on the field and what happens from there. We'll see. But I think the right guy won. I don't think there should be any doubt there. I really wish they'd go back to inviting 6. I hate only inviting the 4, especially when the third guy in votes didn't even go because you invited the wrong people. So see what happens with the Heisman going forward. But I'm expecting a much different season and a much different race and a much more vocal conversation about that race next year for a couple different reasons. There's going to be some names that you're going to have to pay attention to.
So we've got this weekend is the start of the college football playoffs. And
round 1, baby. Starts Friday night with it's Alabama, right? Alabama, Oklahoma? Yeah.
Alabama, Oklahoma,
Friday night. I fully expect Alabama to have a get-right game and bounce back and win that. Honestly, I'm feeling like pretty handily. I would take Alabama the points, whatever the spread is, because I feel like it's going to be a 14, 17-point win minimum. I really do. Oklahoma really only has a defense. I don't think it's one of the best defenses. I think it's a good defense. And I think Alabama has, on any given week, one of the best, if not the best offense in the nation.
Okay.
And I think they have a very big bounce back, get right game after that nasty SEC championship game against Georgia. And I see them boat race in Oklahoma here.
There we go. I like it. We got Oregon and JMU.
Oregon should roll with this. But, man, they have just not looked dominant at all this year at any point to me, really. And it would not surprise me in the least if we go into the fourth quarter and we have ourselves a game. Am I expecting that? No. I am expecting Oregon to finally look dominant and hang a 50-burger on JMU and only allow like 13 points. Like, I just am, because Oregon is supposed to be that good. But they haven't shown that yet. So what I think is going to happen is an Oregon win. And I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people are expecting late in the game. Now,
man, I'm thinking Oregon's going to get upset by JMU, in my opinion.
Oh, that would be super spicy.
They don't call me spicy for nothing.
That's right. That's right. Wow. Yeah. I mean, Oregon should roll. They should.
But are they?
They should roll.
Are they?
I really want to see Oregon and Texas Tech. I really want to see that matchup. So it's what I want to see. But an upset is fun too. A Cinderella story is always good. It works for March Madness.
Boy, it would force a lot of people to have to shut up for a little bit. They won't apologize and they won't hold their tongue next year, but it'll force them to shut up for just a hot second. And that would be fun.
We love chaos, so I root for chaos. So.
We do like chaos.
JMU.
Well, you're not getting it in the next game. Ole Miss already smoked Tulane earlier in the season, and I don't see that being any different a second time around.
Yeah, that's not going to change. Even without Lane
Kiffin and the mess that Ole Miss has had to endure since the end of the season, I think Ole Miss just runs away with this game.
Let's go, you. That's just for you, Pinky.
I'm so torn on this because I'd love to see Miami move on, but then I also don't want to see them get their asses kicked by Ohio State. So
I think the Carson Beck we expect, Pinky, shows up. And as much as I'm not a big fan of College Station and rooting for the Aggies, I think they also have a bit of a bounce back game. And I think Notre Dame is the better team, but Miami beat them head to head, so Miami deserved the spot. If I'm looking at the end of the season and who I think was like, if I'm comparing them again and I say put them on a field again, I would expect Notre Dame to make Miami look a little foolish. But Miami beat them. And Miami had the same record at the end of the season. Miami deserved that spot. I don't think Miami's that good. And I think Carson Beck rears his ugly head in that way that we expect. And AM gets it done here. Now, I'm not expecting a blowout. I think this could easily be like a 42-35 game. But Carson Beck has 3 interceptions kind of thing, and that's what cost Miami in the end. You know what I mean? And then the conversation when he's on the mic at the end of the game is going to be like, I just run the plays that are called.
I hate the way he's been so up and down. There's games he looks great, and then there's games you're like, what in the hell is he looking at? So, but I will root for that. Is that a later game on Saturday? What time is that game?
I'll tell you right now. I got that here. Let's see here. So Alabama, Oklahoma is a 6 o'clock kick, I should say. Tulane, Ole Miss is 1:30. Oh, Miami, Texas A&M is 10 a.m.
Man, I'll either be really happy at 10 a.m. or really sad. I take my test on Saturday at 8 a.m. So we'll see.
We're going to knock that shit out, homie.
Working on it, baby. Working on it.
Sounds like we need to celebrate.
Yeah, which Caleb, I also signed up to do a license, so we'll also be having to, send the good vibes my way once Pinky passes his.
I got you.
It's gonna be fun.
I'm not predicting anything out from there. You guys want to, you go right ahead. I want to take it round by round this year. We've talked about how it's extremely wide open. It's wild that you have the NFL and college football in the same scenario in the same year where the field is so wide open. You really do not have a team where you feel like that's the team. Now, I'd argue after Indiana beat Ohio State, you could easily say they are the team. But it's not like they blew out Ohio State. Ohio State could easily come back if they play again and beat them. I think those are the two front runners. I think Texas Tech defense is legit and championship worthy, but their offense is not on the same level as the rest of this. So that makes it very interesting. And I think Georgia is just, I will continue to say it. The SEC is overrated. I don't think they have a true team this year. And I don't think Georgia's it. I don't.
Georgia has moments, though. If there's a team that can play really good football, Georgia can. It's just, what Georgia team are you getting?
That's true. See what happens. But let's see what this first round does, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, buddy. Let's make it happen. And
can we have a quick NBA conversation about a topic before we move into our nonsense?
Sure. Bring it.
I know we don't necessarily like to talk a whole lot of NBA until Christmas, but I think something very interesting has started to occur that I'm beginning to get a good feel of. And I think this is what it is, and I think this is who we need to expect it to be going forward. And it kind of ties into what's happening tonight, which is why I wanted to bring it up. Knicks and Spurs are playing in the NBA Cup tonight. Right now, the Spurs are up, I believe, last I saw it was 94-89. Spurs
Yep.
beating the Knicks right now. So we'll see how that game ends. I like it. I know there's very mixed bags. I think the majority are still against it, but maybe warming up to it a little bit. I think they can still continue to make it bigger, and it can be something cool as time goes on.
So the problem they have with the Cup is I don't think all the teams put their effort into winning the Cup.
They don't. You're absolutely right. And I didn't expect them all to begin with either. But just like, and I talked about it, you look at the international soccer at the highest levels, there's a lot of tournaments within the season that they play and they actually do care about. And I think this is a good way for the NBA to eventually extend the season without extending the season. You're not going to have to add games. But this will create a natural almost break within the season if you want to, in a way, as it grows to where it can provide some breaks for teams and players.
I'd like to see this in January. I know why they do it now.
That's where I'm getting at, but I think you actually extend it out a little bit more, Pinky, from beginning of the season until All-Star break maybe. And by building that in, you can give a little bit more days rest here and there for teams in the first half of that season. But I think they're still experimenting. I think they're still building. Overall, I still think it will be a good thing. The tie into that is one Mr. Victor Wembanyama. The superstar that he is, or at least believes himself to be, whether he is yet or not, and I think that's a different question, solely based on injury and time played, not talent level. But he's starting to become very vocal about his thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. And I think people need to be very careful listening to these opinions, because one of the very first ones he let loose and wanted to roll with and back up until he had to backtrack a lot bit at the beginning of last year was that the NBA was easier than Euroball. And he has since very quickly had to realize that, no, that's not the case. Not the case at all. And what he was trying to say is, well, it was easier to score because they play less defense, this, that, and then he's come off of all of it. That's not what he believes, and he knows it, and it's not true, never was. He said as much. Well, yesterday or the day before, a very interesting quote came out that I don't think he is being misinterpreted. I don't think there's room for gray area here. I think he very clearly stated and said what he meant to say. And I think he expected people to be easily read between the lines with this statement. And it was such that the two best players in the league right now are Giannis Antetokounmpo and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because they're elite on both ends. And then he went on to mention Jokic is only elite on the offensive end. I said take his stuff with a grain of salt, right? Be careful listening to this man's opinions just because he might be talented at basketball. I had to take a moment and think about what he's saying and be willing to digest it a little bit before I allowed my gut reaction to take over. Whether it was true or not, I wanted to make sure. So I didn't even need to go down a rabbit hole, Robert and Pinky. I just needed one bit of information.
Like
one piece is what I was looking for. Because we already know people who say Jokic doesn't play defense are running with the narrative that is simply false. And it's been proven false over and over and over again. Just because he doesn't block shots, people want to try and claim he's not a good defender, and that's just not the case. I'm not going to go over that topic. But what I did want to know, what did it look like when Wembanyama and Jokic played each other? Well, it just so happens that Jokic is averaging a 30, 15, and 10 trip dub on the man. So I find it hard to take something someone says when we all know who the best player in the game is right now. Whether you want to believe it or not, it just simply is what it is. And then that man has that kind of statistical line when he's supposed to be, by his own words and the rest of the league, an elite defender, arguably the best defender in the league. And you say those words about that man, and then that's your stat line for those head-to-heads.
It's not a good look.
As another great nugget use wants to say.
And maybe I don't really see SGA as a great defender. He's okay.
He's not. Thank you. I wasn't going to say it. Cool. There we are.
I'll say it. I hate watching the guy. I hate watching the guy play basketball.
Defender. SGA is not elite. And if that wasn't proven in the playoffs last year when he was getting blow by after blow by, I don't know what to tell you. There are far better defenders on that OKC team on the perimeter. He's a good defender. But so is Jokic. Oh, man. So, yeah, Wemby, try again, bruh. Try again.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right. Robert,
Bro.
the floor is yours, baby.
Dude, big stuff. So, right here, right now, are you all committed for the next several weeks? Because Fallout has started as of today. New episodes weekly. I'm in. Caleb's in.
If Pinky does it, then he just has to be me for once. And just has to deal with hearing some spoilers.
After Saturday. I'm in.
Well, yeah. But that
What do
still
you mean
gives you
after
time to
Saturday? You just have to
take
have
his
it watched
test.
by next Tuesday when we discuss it on the show. If you don't, you're going to have to listen to spoilers.
Correct.
I'll get it done. All
right.
I will figure out a way.
Now,
that first season was awesome.
That being said, Fallout Season 2 is back. And how excited are we that we actually get to do this together now?
Robert, is there a better video game to movie/TV show adaptation than what Fallout 1 gave us? And I can't answer that in any shape, way, or form because I never even played the game. So I know the basic premise, but I never even played it. So I couldn't answer even in the slightest.
It's hard
and
to
I don't mean, let me clarify a little bit. I don't mean in honoring the source material to a T. I mean being able to just give the general feel in the same way that, and maybe not to this extent, but the same way Peter Jackson was able to give us a Lord of the Rings that felt exactly like the books, even though he changed some major things between book 2 and 3 kind of, and left off maybe one of the best endings in novel history.
Yes.
But does that make sense? Do you understand where I'm coming from?
I would agree to a certain extent. I still think
not even agree. I'm asking you because I'm wondering.
Yes, to a point.
I love Fallout, but again, never played the game.
It's a very good adaptation of the world and everything in it. And I'm excited for where Season 2 goes because New Vegas is one of my favorite video games of all time. And if they do it right, which I'm expecting they will, it's going to be awesome.
Wait. I think something might have just clicked for me. And if it didn't, then just forget this and move on. So I apologize. Is Season 1 based on just one of the video games? And then Season 2 is going to be based on...
It's just the setting.
Okay.
There's characters and things that will pop up, but it's not exclusively tied to a video game specifically.
So New Vegas was a video game for the series of
Fallout New Vegas is what it was called.
But the way it sounds like you're telling me it's going to be used more so is just to add to the world at large in which we get to move around in GTA style, kind of almost.
Pretty much.
Okay. All right. Cool. Cool.
I still think that the Super Mario movie that came out a couple years ago is one of the best video game adaptations to date.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So
that was pretty good. The one with Pratt being Mario.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
then
that
the sequel comes out here
that
in a
should have
few
been
months.
so terrible, and actually was really
It was
good.
so
Yeah.
good.
You're right. That was
I love
pretty
it.
good. It's no, what was it, 89, 90 Mario Bros? Like it's
No.
not as good as that.
No. that not at all. That movie with
John
Danny or
Leguizamo.
who was it? No, it's not Danny DeVito. Who was it?
John
No.
Leguizamo and oh man, I can't remember his brother.
The guy
Who was
from
Mario.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit, right?
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
I don't know his name, but that's the guy.
Yeah. That
So,
one's so classic.
the
So
best-
terrible and classic.
At least the most recent video game adaptation.
Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins.
The Last of Us season 1 was fantastic.
Yes.
I think Fallout is up there, and then I love Twisted Metal. I think Twisted Metal is a great adaptation.
I mean, it's a very exclusive opinion. I personally think that the Assassin's Creed movie with Michael Fassbender did a great job of adapting the world.
Okay.
I think it deserved a second chance. But it got a lot of flack. I don't understand why.
What about
I thought
Sonic?
it was a great movie. Those movies are great. Yeah,
Right? Those ones are pretty good too.
Man, we really went down a rabbit hole with this, but yeah, no, totally.
Sorry, it was a question I had been thinking
No.
about.
It's valid. No, it's an absolute valid for the topic of conversation. No, there's a lot of as of late, there have been great video game adaptations because video games themselves, I think, are telling the most prolific stories right now that movies can't, and movies are now are taking from video games to bring it to the video game people. Like Minecraft. Minecraft made so much money, and I'm not a fan. I haven't seen it. I don't plan to see it unless for whatever reason I do. But that movie made money and was pretty faithful from my understanding. And I can't speak to that at all, but it did excellent. So video game movies are going to become a more constant thing. I mean, what got me into anime was a adaptation of the Keanu Reeves video game Cyberpunk. And that was phenomenal. And then when they ended up incorporating the TV show into the game itself to not only get some of the equipment, but visit some of the places in the city that the show's based on, it's a whole new level of immersion. And so when you have these other things that are happening, I'm almost willing to bet that at some point there may be a Fallout update for New Vegas. There might be a remaster or something that Bethesda puts out. Who knows? But there's a lot of opportunity there for Fallout itself as not only just a video game, but a TV series, movie, wherever we really go.
So that leads me to my next question. I was leading into this kind of a long way of getting a real big picture from you on thoughts on this whole subject that I've had some curiosities about. But before I do that, Pinky, did you have a thought that you wanted to jump onto that?
I was gonna just say the other one that's up there is Five Nights at Freddy's.
I haven't seen that.
I'm familiar with, haven't heard a lot about, but it's got a huge following. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's cult classic.
It did really well. It got a sequel too. So
sequel just came out.
All that being considered, twofold and a comment kind of thing, Robert. So stick with me for just a quick hot moment.
I'm holding on.
Do you think going forward, video games and adaptations into movies or series will overtake the novels? And is Star Fox the absolute best option to start a universe with going forward?
No.
I
would go with Zelda myself, but
Zelda's already happening.
I know,
but it's
but
live
that's
action.
But that's a universe that you could really expand on.
Yes, to answer the first question, because it's already happening. You've got The Last of Us. You've got Mario. The Sonic trilogy with Jim Carrey. Assassin's Creed is getting a redone on Netflix. Fallout is huge on Prime. Pinky?
First season of The Witcher.
Witcher,
mentioned that.
huge.
The first
Yep.
season.
Yeah, first season of The Witcher. So I mean, there's already a lot of the video game adaptations happening, and there's
Do you think
more
it's
coming.
already happened where it's surpassed novels, or do you think it's going to be
No.
just part of the new way to kind of source material? It's not going to be only novels. It's going to be novels and games and maybe even other.
I think it'll be the
It's opening
latter.
the door more, so is what you're saying.
It'll be
Okay.
the latter, because there's so many different things that you are seeing in media right now. The big one is animation to live action. Well, a big suffering of that, of course, we all know, is time. Well, Avatar: The Last Airbender's live action series is getting ready to release season 2. Well, when you look at it compared to season 1 and who the main character Aang is supposed to be, the main he's aged up, he's grown up too much. So he doesn't have that same boyish charm that animated Aang carries throughout the whole series. So and with what's happening in making seasons of anything right now, and it takes 2-3 years to get a season 2 or season 3, those things are starting to die off, and animation starting to come back in a more prolific way. There's a lot of correction and steering and correcting of the course, if you will, with how these things are going.
I know you and I have talked about it, and you've been kind of a big proponent of this for as long as I've known you, I think. And I would very much agree with you in this sense that there's a way to do this and allow live action to tell your major storylines and fill in all the gaps with animation, and you can do it all in a lot quicker fashion timeline wise.
Correct.
And I think that would be something that would be kind of. Star Wars seems to be the only one really doing it on a large scale right now, and even they aren't doing it in between their live action stuff right now like they could be, in a sense.
Star Trek, I would also say currently is also doing that pretty well.
Sure, absolutely. But it would be cool to see somebody do that in a way where it's planned.
Yeah.
I guess Gunn maybe kind of.
Yeah, Gunn is moving somewhere to that direction. Yeah. So you have that element.
So side note, I think that's a great point by you that you brought up multiple times.
And so and then again, I'm not saying there's anything bad about live action adaptations. There are some good ones. But in specific things like that where time is against you, you have to make that a consideration if it's worth it. I don't think things like that are necessarily worth it for a lot of these other projects. And, kind of leading into the next topic, Avatar is one of them. When Avatar released in 2009, I mean, that was the most profitable movie of all time. And then 2022, we finally get the sequel 13 years later. That's too long. And time's against you.
When he already had it planned.
Right.
Well,
and the technology and
things.
For
technology to catch up to what his vision was.
Which
is why it took him so long to do Avatar in the first place, right? So.
Right.
Really, there's a lot of. And there's some truth to that, because there's a lot of technology that is being used now as commonplace that he literally developed just to film Avatar.
Well, and again, Tron Legacy is one of those big ones too, that when that came out same time, and that was de-aging technology for Jeff Bridges, and now we've used that in almost a near perfect state, and we got Indiana Jones.
Right.
So it's some of those things where in the long run it pays off, and that's great, but now we've been sitting here in a situation where, he's talked about a 4 and 5, but he's also talked about 3 being a final movie.
Yeah, I am very frustrated right now how everybody's talking about this is the final perfect wrap up to a trilogy, and I'm like, yo, hold up.
And
if this man doesn't do 4 and 5, we don't get to sit here and call this a trilogy and say it's great. He told us there was 2 more movies.
Right.
So if he doesn't do them, you don't get to sit here and say this story was wrapped up beautifully. That's a crazy idea to me.
Yeah, exactly. And because of everything that's been going on, and I really want to dig into this, and being the cinephile that I've become, I actually bought the director's cut and have watched it for the first time. It's awesome.
It is really good.
It's fantastic.
really good.
I didn't expect the opening to be so different.
Yeah.
Being on Earth and all of those
Yep.
things, and some of the other extended training sequences and
It
battle
gives
things.
you
I'm
more of the
like,
universe
whoa!
feel. Like you're really going out into space. You're really going
Yeah.
out somewhere. It really changes. And it's wild that they didn't leave that in to start the movie for the theatrical release.
Totally. It gives you a more appreciation of why Jake adopted his new life as
Imagine
a
if
Na'vi.
Dune had just started on Arrakis.
Yeah. So, and that's kind
Instead
of the thing is like
Atreides
it's
and seeing them make that transition.
right. It's like the Lord of the Rings extended editions is they've totally added a new thing, and once you've seen them, you can't go back.
Mm-hmm.
So I've really loved doing that, and then going back and rewatching the last two. There's still some things that I don't like. I really didn't feel like 2 really did more to further the story. It wasn't an Empire Strikes Back or Dune Part 2, in my opinion. So I really feel like this third one needs to bring it home. And I've seen some things where they're calling it Return of the Jedi for better and worse. So I got tickets to go Friday night at 10:30, and this is a 3-hour movie. So this is going to be great.
I've heard some
be a
really good
long,
things about
long
it.
night.
I think they're, and based on what I've heard about the premise, I would expect it to be good.
Yeah, so I'm excited to go. I actually was looking through the list of movies on IMDb for the top 250, and Avatar is not even in the list anymore. So I'm curious to see where this ends up for the trilogy if we don't get 4 and 5. But we also, with these movies, are getting a few other early peeks at The Odyssey.
Oh, dude.
And one of 4 Doomsday trailers. And let's just talk about how Marvel is dropping the ball on this. Because it's all theatrical release. It's not going to be released online. Well,
why?
Because Disney wants people to go to the theater to pay for Avatar tickets to go see the Doomsday trailer. Which, again, there's 4 different trailers, and they're not going to be released online. So what this is encouraging is pirating and illegal filming and all these other things for them to just get posted and widespread online.
Saying it. Hollywood has lost touch in such a major way. And they do not understand that the theater is no longer a family-friendly venture. Not even close. And so when you get situations like me, and I think there are a lot more people starting to becoming me, where you would rather sit your butt at home and watch in the comfort of your PJs and your favorite blanket with your surround sound on than you would having to go to the theater and get out of the house and pay an arm and a leg to do so. It's going to be a bigger and bigger problem if they don't very quickly address a reason for families to go back to the theater.
I will say, just because with my movie theater experience, because I'm never not in a movie theater. I was actually shocked by how many people were at The Shining on Sunday night at 10. It was quite full.
How many showings were there, Robert?
There were 3, and there was Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, all at 10.
One theater?
Yep, because it was only IMAX.
Yeah, so that's a situation where there are enough of you out there that will fill a theater for 3 shows.
Sure.
You play that weekends on end on multiple screens, and it's going to feel empty.
With multiple showtimes, sure. And I mean, yeah, that's what you got to figure out.
I think the biggest example of that is, yes, you still get some good opening day weekends, but you watch how quickly the fall off goes from opening day to the second weekend.
Yep.
And there's no trickle effect anymore. It's a waterfall.
There will never be a Marvel Avengers Infinity War Endgame Man of Steel experience ever again. There will never be a box office like that ever again.
I won't say that only because...
Actually, you know what? No, I take that back. I take that back. And the only way that I see it happening, the only way, is Nolan's Odyssey. I feel like that will draw in a big box office.
I am insanely excited for that. We'll talk more about that as we get more information. We're able to really dive into it because.
Oh, I will let you know what the sneak peek is on
you
Tuesday.
won't have to. I'm way ahead on this. I've known about this project for.
I've known
Greek literature and.
Oh, I know.
My
it's
dog's
fantastic.
name is
I'm excited to see the.
My dog's name is Odysseus. The other one's name is Zeus. Okay, like this is part of history that I really, really enjoy. So, but this is why I think that it may not see box office as far as the overall gross figure that the movie does in dollars, but I think you could easily see if Hollywood finally wakes up. I think you could easily see it change to where you see ticket sale numbers drastically outsell what's been done in the past. But because they woke up and it's so much cheaper and affordable to go to the movies, those movies, while they may sell more tickets, won't necessarily look like the same box office draw that an Avatar or Avengers was.
Oh, well, sure. I mean, inflation and all that.
And I think that'll have to be something that people consider, because what Hollywood really needs and what they're unwilling to accept these days is they need that secondary market to become what it once was. And when I say that secondary market, I mean what happens after thank you, Robert. What happens after theaters? It used to be Blockbuster, right? And then after it was rented, it got to the point where then it went on cable. And it became a syndicated thing, what I call a Saturday afternoon nap movie. And it was so good that you could watch it no matter when it came on. And you were okay if you fell asleep to it and took your nap, because when you woke up, you were going to know what's going on and you still felt good and still wanted to be entertained and watch it. Those are rare these days, I feel like. And if they can get back to that, where you're back to creating, for lack of a better way of explaining it, back to creating art rather than dollars, things will naturally correct themselves for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Caleb, cheers to that. That being said, now we're gonna switch to a more happier note. This will kind of be a sneak peek because I've got some special treats next week for our Christmas episode. So this week, gentlemen, is, what Christmas movie does your family have to watch? So my example here is, every Christmas day, Christmas morning, we wake up, we start doing Christmas presents. Christmas Story is on in the background. The 24-hour run, we have to have that. That is our number one Christmas movie as a family that we have to watch every year. So what is your guys' Christmas movie as a family that you all have to watch every year? Like together as a fam, not just like, oh, hey, let's put on Elf or Die Hard. What is the movie as a family?
Any version of The Grinch right now with the two little ones. We can get away with, and they're big fans of. The one they really enjoy is the most recent,
the Illumination one
remake with the goat screaming.
Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah,
where the goat's just like ah, and scares everybody away. That's their jam right now. The wife and I is Christmas Vacation.
Ooh, classic. Okay. Do you do anything special with it? Like, do you have to have like eggnog or like Christmas cookies or anything?
No, just however we're
put it on.
Maybe we'll have some drinks. Maybe we'll just throw it on. Sneak it in when we can. It's on TV, so we might kind of try to watch it and have the kids do some kind of art activity and play while it's kind of quietly on in the background if we haven't had a chance to watch it. Like, we try to find a way to sneak it in still, no matter what. But that's one that, since we've been together, we watched. And then now that we got the little ones, we find ways to still try and watch it during the waking hours.
Love that. Pinky, what about you, sir?
It's pretty much Elf and Christmas Vacation are the two movies that we probably end up watching every year.
But, Die Hard's another one for sure for me.
Oh, Die Hard every year.
Legitimately.
I have to. I will say Die Hard's 1 and 2. Die Hard 2 is also a Christmas movie.
I mean, it's done during the winter, sure. I think he's traveling home for Christmas.
Isn't he flying on Christmas Eve? Like,
it's in an airport. Yeah.
On Christmas Eve. Isn't it? Is it not?
I can't remember the day. I know the first one. I mean, the first one's at a holiday party. Like, it's at a
Right.
Christmas party. Like,
Yeah,
I'll
no,
usually-
Die Hard 2 takes place on Christmas Eve.
yeah, that's what I thought.
So does
It's
the first
Christmas Eve.
one.
Yeah.
I'll usually watch any of the new movies that have come out that are kind of Christmas related. I'll watch. There was a Mark Wahlberg movie where he's a spy, and it's kind of they're in France or Europe during Christmas or whatever. We watched
That
that.
just reminded me, there's a new one, newer. It's been out for a little while now. But we just saw it again and forgot how much we liked it, and it will probably become a yearly thing, I think. And it's the new Christmas Santa Claus movie with Kurt Russell as Santa Claus.
Yeah, the Santa Claus Chronicles.
Yeah.
That one is pretty good. Pretty good.
I loved Violent Night with
Violent
David
Night, yep.
Harbour.
Never saw that one.
Oh, that's good, buddy.
That's
You
a
should watch
good
that.
one.
It's good. It still has the Santa but it's also very violent and gory.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's
Is it like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer
it's
or
Santa
whatever?
Die Hard. It's Santa Die Hard. Is really what it is.
Good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Love it.
Awesome. Well, gents, it's always great Christmas season. I got to take my niece and nephew to see reindeer and Santa at my apartment complex because apparently that's what they do here. So that was awesome getting to do that because it was just the three of us. So awesome moments. It makes me want to have my own little kid, but I'm not trying to do anything crazy right now.
Gotta find the right woman first.
Yep. So, love those moments with the fam. I'm excited for Christmas morning with them. Just getting time with family. It's always good.
Broncos on
Love
Christmas.
it, man.
Let's go.
Pinky.
Broncos on Christmas. Let's go, baby.
Yeah. Yep. I'm having to deal with a whole lot of I told you so's, and it hurts because I really was hoping things would be different, but 15 is probably leaving Nebraska. And they're just going to have to figure out something else. So no hate, no love loss. I still really like Raiola. I think he's going to go on to do big things, and I will always be a fan, but it is a bummer that I really did hope. Heart over head kind of thing, right, Pinky? I should have known he was going to leave, but I let the heart get the better of me. So it is what it is. On that note, family, friends, loved ones, do not take those moments for granted. Boy, I tell you right now, we could have done a whole show on just the things that we did over this last week between the three of us with our inner circle. So practice what you preach. We try to go take advantage of those moments. Do not let them be taken for granted. Like, follow, share, subscribe. Pump us out to everybody you know. Please, please push it out. Push it out. If you like us, if you enjoy us, interact with us. We keep talking to you guys. We keep telling you to. Like, follow, share, subscribe. Yeah, we love that stuff. But what we also love, tell us what you want to talk about. Give us a topic. Hit us up. Let us know what you think. You want our opinion on something, let us know. We enjoy the interaction. On that note, until next week, ladies and gentlemen, peace. We're out.
Later.
Pinky in the building, reppin' orange and blue. Broncos country, yeah, you know how we do. Hot take so wild, you remember the name. From college ball to the pros, Caleb spitting game. Robert here, the pop culture plug. From comics to racing, pour the drink in the mug. Sports, nonsense and whiskey, yeah, bold talk. Good laughs and a glass in the air. Sports, nonsense and whiskey, right? Kick back, tune in, take a wild side stride.